Arizona Cardinals cast 10/25/2022. Anyways, we're going to talk about some Arizona Cardinals today. How about that? Let's do it. So, what I want to talk about today is DeAndre Hopkins impact. So, DeAndre Hopkins returned last Thursday against the Saints, had 10 catches for 103 yards, got targeted 14 times. He just made his impact felt on the field. The whole offense seemed to flow better. You could argue it was probably their best. I know they had more yards in a couple other games this year, but I would argue it was their best offensive performance of the season. The offense looked in sync throughout the game. The Cardinals scored on all three of their first half offensive possessions, which, the previous 6 games, the offense couldn't get out of their own way in the first half. There was a huge impact with DeAndre Hopkins back. Now, it's unfortunate that him and Hollywood Brown are not going to be able to play together till likely, my guess is, the New England game in Week 14, which, man, we're going to be talking about New England and other teams in the power rankings. It's just been a weird season, hasn't it? It feels like everyone's 3-4 or 4-3, like in the NFC West. Right now, the Seattle Seahawks are in first place and actually look like a real team. You look at the, advanced metrics. The Seahawks are, borderline, definitely top 15, close to top 10 team, and it just makes you scratch your head like, what? And, in the Cardinals, you could say it looked like a bottom 10 team so far this season. If you look at the advanced metrics, they're around 23rd, 24th. In just about everything, Offense is below average. Defense is average to below average. Special teams have been pretty average this year. I mean, really, if you think about it, maybe the Cardinals are lucky to be 3-4. But this is where they're at. They're in last place, but they're 3-4. And they have a chance to make some headwaves. Now, this is the 4-game stretch where really, and we're going to probably be talking about it, we're having a show. I had some things I was doing yesterday, so we're going to do a show tomorrow. So we're going to do a show Tuesday through Friday this week. And we're going to really get into these 4-game stretch coming up. This really is the season to me, is these next 4 games. The Cardinals, after Week 11's Monday night game against San Francisco, will have only one division game, a rematch with San Francisco on the very last game of the season. So before Thanksgiving, the Cardinals would have played 5 of the 6 games in the division. So far, they're 0-2. They have to, at minimum, bare minimum, in that 3-game stretch, go 2-1. If not 3-0, I'd say 2-1. 2-1, and I recommend one of the 2 being over Seattle. Honestly, I would say the Seattle and the Rams games, you would like to get both of those, you would say. And if they get both of those, they're going to at worst be 5-5 through 10, possibly 6-4. Now, as you've seen, this tells you sharp money. Remember, this line opened at Minnesota -6. It is now Minnesota -3.5. I don't think. I think you'll be able to get the hook with the Cardinals all week. I don't know if the line's going to drop all the way down to 3. But now the line is a fair line against the Vikings. But pretty much what that's telling you is a lot of money is coming in on the Cardinals. As we were saying, Minnesota's a 5-1 team, probably wrapped in a 3-3 or 4-2's clothing. The Vikings are really they're a slightly above average team. And you could argue, the Cardinals have been below average, but you could argue with DeAndre Hopkins back, the Cardinals are just about the same, as Minnesota. Each team has, holes in their defense, an okay offensive line, decent quarterback, one awesome receiver. Really, if you go across the roster, and we're going to be talking about that a lot throughout the week, this is a game the Cardinals could win. The thing that makes it tough is that it's in the Skull Dome, and we know that Minnesota in that Skull Dome is a very, very tough team to beat. A very, very tough team to beat. But, sorry about that, I'm back. But yeah. And that's but having DeAndre Hopkins back, you saw that in the first game against the Saints. I know that the 2 pick sixes helped to win that game. But DeAndre Hopkins made a huge impact. The Cardinals still scored 28 points on offense, which is the most they've scored in any game this season. They scored 30 plus for the first time all season. So they scored 40 plus for the first time under Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. Can you believe that? The Kyler Murray, the Kyler Cliff, the K1, K2 era which is now, and I know Kyler missed 3 games last year, but it is 56 games long now. Or no, 56 games, yeah. Just doing the math in my head. Sorry. 56 games long now. Took till the 56th game for them to score 40 points. The most they had scored before this game was 38. So, kudos to it. It was a great performance last week against the Saints as we review it. It was a good bounce back. You actually felt good about the Cardinals, maybe for the first time all year. Even after the other wins. Well, against the Raiders, you were like, what a comeback. Against the Panthers, it was still kind of like one of those, like, this was ugly. We'll take it. This win over the Saints, you actually felt good about it, even though they gave up a lot of yards. You felt like the Cardinals, for the first time all year, looked like, legitimately maybe a playoff team, at least the team that's going to be in the playoff hunt. Anyways, this has been a weird season. So we're just going to say that it's been a weird season. If anybody watched the game in Foxborough last night, the Bears, who couldn't run the ball and had one of the worst offenses in football, had over 400 yards of offense, scored 33 points. Justin Fields, making Bill Belichick, just putting he was running circles around Bill Belichick. And it was probably, and there's been a shocking season. You could argue, and both of the most shocking results in the NFL came in Week 7. One was the Bears-Patriots. You did not expect the Bears to put up 33. It wasn't necessarily that the Bears won. But you felt like if the Bears won, it was going to be like 17-13. It was going to be one of those ugly games where the defense kind of grinded it out. And the Bears' defense did play phenomenal last night. Which, man, Patriots, I can't wait to write about the power rankings this week. There are great narratives with just about every team. It was a very weird, pivotal, interesting week, I would say, in the NFL. And maybe that's what we expected with, the top 2 teams in our power rankings, the Bills and Eagles, not even playing this week. And also the Vikings, 5-1, not playing this week. So, let's go to our power rankings. Number 5 in our bottom 5, can you believe that the Cleveland Browns, and this is an indictment on you, Jacoby Brissett, who has been about as unclutch as a quarterback could be. Defense forces a Justice Hill fumble when it looks like the Ravens are about to put the game away and make Drew some dough because they had the Ravens minus 6.5. Browns, Jacoby Brissett gets him. Really, it was not. I'm not even going to blame Cade York. A 60-yard field goal in that stadium, that would have even been a big ask for Justin Tucker, who's the best kicker maybe ever, who made a 55-yarder like it was nothing. But yeah, the Browns, they shouldn't be this low. But to tell you the truth, when you don't have a quarterback, or maybe the worst starting quarterback in the league, arguably, you're going to be bad. And they've been bad, and now they're playing against a red-hot, kind of a suddenly hot Bengals offense on Monday Night Football, and the Browns can't stop a nosebleed. Good luck. I mean, they're almost done. By the time, the upstanding citizen of quarterback that they have comes back, they're probably going to be finito. Number 4, the Panthers. That was the other surprising result of the season. They just traded away Christian McCaffrey and Robbie Anderson. And the Panthers, it wasn't like the offense was on fire, but man, the defense carried a day. 21-3 victory over the Bucs. What the heck is going on with you, Tampa Bay? I mean, Tom Brady, eat a cheeseburger, dude. Jeez, you are too skinny. You're starting to look your age. You're throwing more ground balls than, a third base coach at batting practice, at infield practice. It was bad for the Bucs. So I'm bumping the Panthers up a few spots. The Panthers, they still have a lot of talent, especially on defense. And believe it or not, they're not necessarily out of it. They're only a game out of first, and they're 2-0 in the division. I mean, it's it's a weird season. That's all I got to say. Number 3, the Steelers. So Kenny Pickett, 3 interceptions. There is some talent on this team, but you can see there's a lot of limitations right now. The offensive line can't block. The defense has a lot of key injuries. It's not quite what it used to be. It's just going to be a long year, and maybe the Steelers are going to be a fixture in the bottom 5 for the rest of the season. It's looking that way. Number 2, the Texans. As I said, devoid of talent. They're very frisky. They're competitive. They were against the Raiders. I mean, they lost 38-20, but the Texans had the lead going into the fourth quarter in that game, and then Josh Jacobs happened, and that game got away from Houston in a hurry. Then number 1, oh my gosh, Dan Campbell. What? Jared Goff, man. Ugh. God. 0-11-1 now on the road in the Jared Goff, Dan Campbell era. I mean, the Lions have kind of become a laughingstock, and I apologize about the over on 6.5. It's not looking likely, and it looks like with the way the Bears are looking, this is kind of a surprisingly competitive team. You just have to say, because the Bears, outside of that Sunday night in Green Bay, have not been blown out in any other game this year. But the Bears are a legitimate competitive team. The Lions are a legitimate bad team. The Lions and Texans, I would say, those are, and the Steelers, I would say the bottom three right now, those are probably your only three, I would say, bad teams in the league. You can even argue the Panthers, and we'll see. The Panthers might be bad too. The Browns should not be on this list, but they deservingly are right now with their recent performance. Top 5 teams. Oh my gosh. Also, God, I'm wrong this year. I thought the NFC East was going to be bad. It's been bad the last few years. And as you can see, I have 3 NFC East teams in my top 5. I mean, it is not what I expected. I mean, the Cowboys' defense is awesome. Arguably the best in football. They got 4 turnovers from Jared Goff on Sunday. Well, 3 from Goff, 1 from Jamal Williams on Sunday. Kind of loafed around in the first half, but Dak played better in the second half, and the Cowboys are a legit force. I mean, are they going to win their division? Not likely, but, they could be dangerous in the playoffs as a 5-6 seed. A team is probably going to win 11, 12 games. I mean, their defense behind Micah Parsons is awesome. I mean, we have enough of a sample size to see that the Cowboys' defense is probably top 3 in the league. It's up there, with the Bills, and also, Philadelphia obviously has fantastic defenses. You would say Tampa, but Tampa's defense as of late has been very underwhelming. And San Francisco's defense is still good, but they got a little bit of humble pie from the Chiefs last week, who scored 44. And, and I had an argument from the missus, who is a Chiefs fan. He's from Kansas City. And I'll tell her the reason why I have the Giants right now, who just keep finding ways to win games. Metrically, DVOA, Drew rating, everything, the Giants are kind of, around the bottom part of the top 10. I mean, the Giants are one of the most improved teams in football for sure from last year. Every metric shows you that. But the Giants have played 7-1 one-score games and are 6-1, which is crazy. Here's the reason why I put the Giants ahead of the Chiefs. Wins, losses matter. I mean, the Chiefs lost to the number 2 team on the list, the Bills. The Giants lost to the number 5 team on the list, the Cowboys. The difference is the Chiefs' second loss came to Indy inexplicably. The Colts are not a good football team. I think we have enough data to see that. Matt Ryan is now not going to play the rest of the season. I don't know. They're saying it's a shoulder injury. It just seems like Jim Irsay, he needs to stop playing the guitar and stop drinking the whiskey and stay out of Frank Reich's office. Like, he is pretty much benching Matt Ryan, and I know Matt Ryan's over the hill is going to sabotage that season. The Colts are not going to be in it, and it looks like Jacksonville keeps shooting themselves in the foot. So congratulations, Tennessee. You're going to win the AFC South for the 3rd straight year, it appears. Number 2, the Bills. Number 1, the Eagles. Neither team played this week, but I would say Bills and Eagles have been, by every single metric you look at, the 2 best teams in football so far this season. Both are playing games as huge favorites. Can you believe the Bills are an 11.5-point favorite over Green Bay? And I think that line is fair. And to be honest with you, I'm leaning towards picking Buffalo. They're probably not going to be in my Fat 5 picks, but I'm leaning towards taking Bills minus 11.5 in that game. I mean, that is a crazy big line. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has ever been a double-digit underdog in his career. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Please follow me on Twitter at Stu Drew. We're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to start previewing. We're going to have a lot of time to talk about the Cardinals-Vikings. This is a very, very pivotal game in the Arizona Cardinals season. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.